Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Coop Radio. Back once again with another episode here. Episode 16 here for the NASCAR edition. Excited to be back. Loaded show for y'all here today. Following this weekend's race at Nashville. Should be a fun chat for y'all. But the biggest thing coming out of this past week, we got a couple of pieces of news, but the biggest one is the Corey Heim stuff. Officially signing full-time to run the Cup Series for 2311 in the number 35 car, replacing Riley Herbst. So there's a lot to unpack here. Number one, biggest thing, the fact that this season still is kind of a lost season for Corey Heim is honestly a tragedy. The fact that this guy is as talented as he is, as he's shown in both the Truck Series and the Cup Series, at the age that he's at, the fact that coming off of one of, if not the most dominant Truck Series seasons I think we've ever seen, in the 11 truck last year, winning 12 races and leading the most laps, and like just winning by a landslide points wise if it was for points. And yet, to follow that was nothing. No full-time Cup ride, no full-time O'Reilly Series ride, no, not even a full-time truck ride anymore. Was replaced there by Caden Honeycutt, which we're seeing how that's going. And relegated to running part-time across the Cup Series and the Truck Series this season is a true waste, because at the end of the day, a guy of that talent, regardless of sponsorships or, there's just not enough room. There's enough room. You need to make enough room in some way, shape, or form to allow that guy to have a full-time ride somewhere. If it's not in the Cup Series and he has to wait another year, fine. He can only build himself more racing full-time in the Truck Series versus the stupid part-time stuff he's been stuck doing this year. It's a waste. I mean, how many races into the beginning of the Truck Series season, he had ran X amount of races less than everybody, and he was still like the points leader. That's just how dominant he's been whenever he's been in the Truck Series. And a guy who's that good, even if you want to say, oh, he's, like I said, the whole, well, we want to wait another year, you should be able to at least find him a full-time ride somewhere. Again, if it's not even the O'Reilly Series, which I understand some people would be like, it's only going to hurt him by going to the O'Reilly Series. Well, I mean, getting more experience racing is not exactly the worst thing, number one. Number two, I understand if you want to make the comparison of, hey, if he just stays in the trucks, it's more similar to the Cup Series. So therefore, if he were to race the O'Reilly Series, it would maybe be a hindrance in that way. Fine. I can see that argument. But at the same time, basically wasting a season of this guy's career is a mistake, in my opinion. There's plenty of people out there that give full-time rides who are not even half as good as he is, and yet he's accomplished so much and he doesn't get even a whiff of an opportunity at a full-time ride this year. It's stupid. That's number one. Number two, him being in the 35. This is in my opinion, a huge improvement for that car. Some very small amount of Riley Herbst fans out there might be sad about this because it seems like maybe, and that's a big maybe, he's finally starting to get his feet under him a little bit. He's shown a little bit more speed over these last few weeks. There's been times where he's actually ran up front, whether it's, pit strategy related or if it's actually just him finding speed. He's shown himself in the top 10 a bit more often, but at the end of the day, let's not forget that this is a top-end Toyota crew that has a very strong alliance with JGR, who, by the way, is the number one Toyota team. They, on top of that, having that strong alliance with the top Toyota team, the Toyotas in general have shown to be the fastest, shown the most speed. over both the Chevys and the Fords by a good amount, and this past weekend showed that as well again. The top 3 finishers in the race were all Toyotas. We've seen Herbst's teammate in Tyler Reddick go out and win 5 races this year. We've seen Bubba Wallace shown speed at times, maybe not as of late, but earlier in the season shown speed. We've seen all these other Toyotas shown speed, and yet Herbst has been this one main outlier within that 2311 camp. And if you want to make also like I said, the alliance with JGR, if you want to count those all together, he is the obvious outlier. He has been the one that has this year really not shown anything, and even last year didn't really show much. I'd even say if you want to go back to his O'Reilly Series days, really hasn't shown much. And so getting Corey Heim in this car is a massive improvement already. Even in the short time that Corey Heim has been in the Cup Series, he's shown speed. He's shown flashes of something there. And again, he's had much less time and much less experience in this Cup car compared to a Riley Herbst. So getting Corey Heim this opportunity was the biggest thing for 2311. Because look, here's the other scenario that could have played out. People say, oh, well, Riley Herbst, he brought all that sponsorship from Monster, and he brought all this money that, is valuable to 2311. Well, look, there's a line, especially when it comes to the Cup Series, where it doesn't matter how much sponsorship backing you really have. If you're in a good enough car that should be winning races and should be competing, and all your teammates are competing and winning races, at some point you're going to run out of a leash. You're going to run out of time. You're going to run out of opportunities. And so Herbst has ran out of opportunities. 2311 has had enough. They've seen his 2 teammates done very well. And even, like I said, in the short time that Corey Heim's been in that 67 car, he's shown flashes of something there. And so, with that said, if you were to say, oh, well, we want to keep Herbst because of those sponsorship reasons, that's a massive mistake, because Corey Heim has already wasted 1 year of his career by running part-time everywhere and basically not getting an opportunity to compete for a championship, truthfully, in any season in any series because of it. He's not going to sit and wait another year for 2311 to shit or get off the pot when it comes to the 35 car. He's not going to wait another year of running part-time schedules or running another season in trucks in the hopes that 2311 figures it out and finally just says, we're done with Riley Herbst, and moves on. He's going to move on before 2311 would move on from Riley Herbst, if that were the case. And trust me when I tell you, I don't care what 2311 had him signed under. Another team would have gotten him. I talked about a couple weeks ago when I was talking about the silly season stuff, I hinted at the whole idea that if Legacy Motor Club gets this 3rd charter back that they lent to RFK, if I'm not mistaken, and they end up going and getting the 84 to go full time, they're going to go get a Toyota driver to fill that spot, and Corey Heim is number 1 with a bullet. As far as not even just Toyota drivers, but as far as any prospect out there in the O'Reilly Series or the Truck Series or the ARCA Series or wherever, he is number 1 with a bullet, the most sought-after prospect still left outside of the Cup Series. So you're damn right, if he's out there without a Cup ride, Legacy Motor Club, or even somebody else that might have an opening, they jump on that in a minute because they see the potential and they see the speed that he has, not just in the Cup Series, but the Truck Series especially as well. So for 2311 to lock him down and get him in that ride full time was a no-brainer. The fact that it took this long surprises me. It almost makes me think, like, did 2311 somehow think that Riley was going to find something this year and he was going to show speed, and therefore they were going to justify not keeping Corey around and letting him go to a legacy motor club or letting him go somewhere else, or even justifying keeping him part-time and just keeping him under as the fourth car that shows up every now and then on a part-time schedule. I really don't know why they would have thought that. And again, I don't know why it took so long for them to finally make the decision. I mean, I could have seen from a mile away that was the move. Anybody with eyes and ears that watches the sport on a consistent basis could have seen that was the move. So for them to finally just bite the bullet and move on was necessary. Now, here's the other side of the equation is Riley Herbst. Now what do you do if you're Riley? Well, the number one obvious thing is, hey, I'm going to try to run out the season as best I can, finish out the year, and try to use this opportunity as a way to audition myself for somebody else. If you want to look at Cup Series rides, you look down the list, there's really not any opportunity. There was hintings at the Spire opportunity opening up, but I don't think that's the case anymore. I think that three-man lineup is now set. I don't think McDowell's going anywhere. I remember McDowell having a quote about him not leaving until the Spire, I believe his name is Tanner Reif, but I may be getting it wrong. There's a Truck Series driver that is under the Spire development system, basically. And once he's quote-unquote ready is when McDowell said that he would retire and he would step out of the seat. So with that being said, I don't think McDowell's going anywhere. I think he's going to stay around for another year. Carson's obviously not going anywhere, and I think now Daniel Suarez is probably going to stay in the 7, at least for another season. Unfortunately, we have to point out the obvious. The RCR opening in the 8, or which is now the 33. I don't think that that's open. I think that that's going to be either Austin Hill's ride, which is looking like it's going to be, or Jesse Love's, one of the two. And so that spot's filled as well, and I don't think that Austin Dillon is going anywhere. There's no openings at Hendrick. There's no more openings at Gibbs. I don't even think that Denny Hamlin is retiring here this year or at the end of this year. I think he's going to retire next year at the earliest. There's no openings at Penske. There's no openings at Legacy Motor Club. Possibly maybe Legacy Motor Club in the 84, but I think that there's a possibility that somebody else, a Brent Cruz in the O'Reilly series, or somebody else in the O'Reilly series that may get that opportunity. But maybe that's an opening. I don't know what's going on with Josh Berry in the 21, but I don't believe that he's going anywhere. I think that he's staying. RFK, if anything, they're going to lose people because they have this third charter that they've got lent out to them that they're now going to lose at the end of the season. They're trying frantically to try to find a way to get a third charter so they can keep that third car as a chartered car rather than having to run an open car. Although, in my opinion, Ty Dillon in the 10 is a wasted ride and a wasted opportunity. I don't know if that 10 is going to open up for him. I don't think that Cole Custer is going anywhere in the 41. The 47 is already locked down with Stenhouse re-signing. I don't think there's any opportunities in either the 38 or the 34. I think that Zane Smith and Todd Gilliland are staying. Basically, what I'm hinting at here is there's nothing open. And there's nothing on the horizon that is going to change. And my even other thing is like, hey, even if some of these other rides do open up, say the 10 opens up and Ty Dillon isn't brought back. Or say that the 84 is out there and that's open and maybe he's considered. Or the 21 is open. Or, Connor Zilic moves to the 48 and then the 88 and the Trackhouse is open. Even if all of these opportunities are open, or the 33 is open, and Austin Hill doesn't come back, and Jesse Love signs somewhere else, or something crazy like that, I don't think that Herbst is considered for any of these opportunities. I think personally, the O'Reilly Series is probably the spot for him. And it's, to some people would say, well, that's terrible. That's not fair to the guy. He's shown speed, he's this and that. Listen, Justin Allgaier, I just saw an interview not too long ago. He's talking about retirement. The O'Reilly Series has plenty of people. If you look at the list, there's plenty of openings and opportunities possibly in the future. There's guys that are in the next couple of years probably going to move up. I don't think that Brent Cruz is long for the O'Reilly Series. I think that he's probably the one that is looking like probably going to take Denny Hamlin's spot in a couple of years if Cruz chooses to stay around and he doesn't take like the 84 opportunity in Legacy Motor Club. There's some other people within the O'Reilly Series that I could see moving around and such. Like I said, if Austin Hill, he leaves and goes to the Cup Series, or Jesse Love leaves and goes to the Cup Series, there's an open ride opportunity there. I talked about the Justin Allgaier one in the 7. That's inevitably, I'm not saying that he would go to the 7. I'm more saying that opens up an opportunity for somebody else to take the 7, and then maybe possibly whoever leaves their respective team to go to Junior Motorsports, he could fill in that role that's now left open. But I just don't believe in my heart that Riley Herbst is a Cup Series driver. Look at Harrison Burton, the most recent perfect example of this. Somebody who found good success in the O'Reilly Series, left to go to the Cup Series in the 21 car for Wood Brothers, and only won one race at Daytona to get himself into the playoffs that one year. And by the way, if I'm not mistaken, he was either literally last in points of all of the full-time chartered guys or second to last. One of the two. Regardless, he was terrible. And some people might say it's equipment. Some people might say it's him. I'd lean towards it's him. He was just not either prepared, he was just not good enough, just not used to the cars, whatever the excuse is. He was not ready for that opportunity. And so therefore, unfortunately, he got removed and sent back down. And now he's been in the O'Reilly Series the last couple of years. And hey, look, I've said it on this podcast plenty of times before. I will say it again. The O'Reilly Series, being an O'Reilly Series driver or a Truck Series driver for life is not a death sentence. I understand that the chain of command goes, you get to the Truck Series, then you go to the O'Reilly Series, and then you get to the Cup Series. And then you stay in the Cup Series for the rest of your career. That's like everybody's dream. But just because your favorite is good in the trucks and good in the O'Reilly Series doesn't mean they're going to be good in the Cup Series. Doesn't mean that when they take that final step, they're going to flourish and win races and be good and whatever. There's plenty of people who have gone to the Cup Series, been there for a few years, tried their hand in it, didn't work, and got sent down or literally got out of the racing in general. There's been how many people who have came up into the Cup Series and tried their hand with whomever team or whatever. Hasn't worked. Tried it with somebody else, and it did work. There's a reason why we consider the Truck Series and some O'Reilly Series guys Hall of Famers. You can make great careers. I mentioned Justin Allgaier. Look at Elliott Sadler. Didn't have the greatest Cup Series career, but went down to the O'Reilly Series, at the time the Nationwide Series and the Xfinity Series. Had himself a decent time down there, won some races, found some success, and is much more revered as a O'Reilly Series driver in his career than the Cup Series. There's all those countless names of guys who race in the Truck Series for most of, if not their entire careers, and found great successes and are going to be Hall of Famers because of it. The Ron Hornadays, the Matt Craftons, the Johnny Sodders, the Timothy Peters, the Todd Bodines. These guys who spent their entire careers, if not their entire careers, most of their careers in the Truck Series and found great success and found stability down there and were able to make a living down there. In my opinion, a lot of what the O'Reilly Series is right now isn't going anywhere. I'm sorry, there's no room for a Sam Mayer in the Cup Series. There's no room for a Brandon Jones. There's no room for a Taylor Gray. There's no room for Sammy Smith. I love Parker Retzlaff, but there's no room for Parker Retzlaff. There's no room for Sheldon Creed. Anthony Alfredo. These guys who have some decent talent, who have shown it on Saturdays, but I know for a fact that in their time of their career, they'll never get that opportunity. They will be in the O'Reilly Series for the rest of their careers, and they won't move. They won't go up and they won't go down. I mean, look at the Cup Series right now. There's a reason why last year to this year, there's almost no change as far as driver lineup because we're gridlocked. The only people that are veterans of the sport who might be leaving the sport within the next 5 years, for Christ's sake, is Denny Hamlin is one. I think he'll probably be gone in the next couple of years. Maybe Michael McDowell in the next few years. There's two. I don't know about SVG. He's still in his 30s and he probably won't be done for a while. I assume he probably wants to continuously race in the Cup Series. It's like he's getting used to it now. He's getting better and better. I highly doubt he's going to leave anytime soon. Looking down the list here, Joey Logano. Logano's still going to be around for another 7 years. As long as Penske keeps him around. He'll be around for another 7 years, and it'll be hard to get rid of somebody who's won 3 championships. No matter how Mickey Mouse they are, it's hard to get rid of somebody who's won 3 championships. Austin Dillon in the 3, maybe that could have been an opening, but I'm not sure if Austin wants to be done yet. And looking down the list, that's it, man. Maybe Brad Keselowski, but you got to also think that car, that third car within RFK, might end up going to the 84 again, or might be going to somewhere else, and they might not get that third charter for next year, and they might end up being stuck having to just let Brad walk and only run 2 cars, or run Brad as the open car. Looking again across the list, there's no one else going anywhere. Unless, again, there's going to be small openings of, okay, the 10 is going to open up at some point because at some point they're just going to have to move on from Ty Dillon. And the same thing with the 16. I also didn't mention AJ Allmendinger. I don't know how many more years AJ wants to do it. I don't think he's going to retire at the end of this year, but he's going to probably stick around for a little bit longer. And maybe some of these other openings like the Josh Berry in the 21 or, looking across here, I'm just looking, maybe Cody Ware will get kicked out of the 51 at some point when that changes hands. And some of these other people like a John Hunter might flunk out again. And maybe Austin Hill, when he gets that 33 full time here next year, probably, he'll flunk out at some point. But across the board, there's nobody that's in the O'Reilly Series, or really the Truck Series now, besides Corey Heim, that jumps off the page and says, this guy needs to be in Cup. This guy shows so much potential. This guy shows so much talent in the lower series. He needs to be given an opportunity. Besides Corey Heim, there's no one. All of the young talent that had a lot of potential has already made it to the Cup Series over these last couple of years. Hocevar and Zane Smith and Todd Gilliland, and now Austin Hill will be up there, and Corey Heim will be up there, and Connor Zilic just moved up this year, and all these guys who showed great promise in the lower series, a lot of these guys have already moved up. Hell, I even thought that the 47 was going to open up this year, and they signed Stenhouse for at least a little bit longer. So he ain't even going anywhere now. And I don't think he's going to retire anytime soon. And even if you want to look at even more specifically, the top end teams, the teams that everybody wants to drive for, the JGRs, the Hendricks, and the Penske's, those are the ones especially that have no guys. As far as we believe, there's no one in any of those cars that are going to retire anytime soon besides the 11. Christopher Bell, very young, not going anywhere. Chase Briscoe, same thing, very young, not going anywhere. Ty Gibbs, very young, not going anywhere. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, William Byron, not going anywhere. Alex Bowman might be the only exception there, where he'll just get booted out of his ride at the end of the season. Penske, same thing. Cindric, supposedly they're happy with him for some reason. He's not going anywhere. He's very young. Ryan Blaney, definitely not going anywhere. And as long as they keep on the Joey Logano train, he's going to keep racing for another 7 years probably. He's not going anywhere. So all these top-end teams, even if you want to say like, oh, Penske's not the top team right now in Ford, it's actually RFK. Well, look at RFK. Is Buescher going anywhere? No, he's not going to go anywhere anytime soon. He'll probably be racing for another 10 years. What about Ryan Preece? Same thing. As long as he'll stay in the car, he'll probably race for another 10 plus years. And Brad Keselowski's the only exception there, where he'll probably be done in the next couple years himself. There's only these very small exceptions. So again, if there's only these small exceptions, and some of these are already pretty much taken, like if Brent Cruz takes the 11, well, William Samolich, what are you going to do? You ain't going anywhere. Taylor Gray, same thing. What are you going to do? You ain't going anywhere. Brandon Jones, same thing. Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. Sam Mayer, same thing. Where are you going? Who's going to take you? Who's going to take Sammy Smith? Who's going to take Carson Quaffle? I'm not mentioning Corey Day because I have this feeling that he already has a ride for next year in the Cup Series. Just hasn't been announced yet. Sheldon Creed, where are you going to go? There's nowhere for you to go. So when it comes to Riley Herbst, it's like, I think you might want to pull your O'Reilly Series resume out of the trash and dust that thing off. Because that's seemingly the only spot that's probably going to take you. And again, it's not a bad thing. It should never be considered a bad thing to have a career where, because look, hey, Justin Allgaier tried the Cup Series thing years ago. Didn't work. Whether that was his fault or probably more so the team he raced for, regardless, it just didn't work. And he found himself a home in the O'Reilly Series, racing for the top team in the O'Reilly Series, making a great living. By the way, stable job, not worrying if you're going to get replaced in your ride or anything. You're kind of grandfathered into your ride at that point for Justin Allgaier. Because, I mean, you're out there still winning races every year, and you've got a stable sponsor, and you've won a championship, and you're the best guy right now in the O'Reilly Series. You're the best guy by a country mile. You're winning the most races. You're the best. And what's so wrong with that? If you asked me right now, and I get it. Granted, the position I'm in life is not anywhere near the Riley Herbst is at. But if you ask me, like, hey, would you bitch and complain about getting to run the truck series for the rest of your career? I'd be an asshole moron dipshit to be like, just the truck series? Why not a Cup ride? Why not the O'Reilly Series? I'd be a moron to come across with that attitude. So yeah, in Riley Herbst's position, if an O'Reilly Series team called him, if Viking Motorsports called him and said, hey, we're going to replace Anthony Alfredo or we're going to replace you in Anthony Alfredo's ride in that 96 next year. You bring that monster sponsorship with you, and we'll give you everything we can. Look how good Parker Reslav's done in our stuff this year. Do you really think he'd be like, meh, I don't want that. That's not good enough for me. And if he did, I'd tell him to stick in his fucking ass and fuck that dude. Because that'd be bullshit. Or if Jordan Anderson called him and said, hey, we'll give you the one of our cars next season full time. You can drive one of our cars. Or Tommy Joe Martins called him and said, hey, you can replace LeVar Scott in the 45, or you can race one of our cars next year. Full time in the O'Reilly series, just bring Monster with you. Like, he'd be an asshole to say no. Because where else are you going to get your shot? It's not going to happen. I think a lot of people, in all honesty, if they're just going to be totally honest, were shocked he even got the opportunity in the first place. I mean, it's more so the fact that he spent how many years racing for Haas in the O'Reilly series and did fuck all with it. I mean, he really didn't do much, if anything. And he raced against a lot of the guys, and this is why it tracks that he didn't do so great in the Cup Series, because he raced against a lot of the guys, the Chase Briscoes, the Austin Cindricks, the Ty Gibbs. He raced against these guys for a while in the O'Reilly series, and he was always behind them, like every week. He never found the speed. He was just always okay. And here in the Cup Series, again, he's okay at best. And maybe his excuse would be, I just need more time. And yeah, you know what? In a different generation, he'd be fair. He'd be right. He just needs more time. And in another generation, years and years and years ago, like 20 years ago, if that were the case, hey, I've only been here for a cup of coffee and I barely have even gotten used to these fucking cars, and I'm only just trying to play catch up here, and I'm behind and I can't figure it out. You got to give me some more time. Then yeah, a different team, a front row would open up a spot for him, or an RFK would open up a spot for him, or, one of these other teams that are mid to low level, a Legacy Motor Club would give him a shot. But nowadays, it's on to the next. There's no wait time. There's no give you an extra couple years. Your last name's got to be on the fucking side of the billboard that advertises the team. Your last name's got to be Gibbs, or you got to be graced by the hand of Kyle Larson, or you got to be, your dad's got to be the team president of the IndyCar program for the respective team you race for in order to get an opportunity and get some more weight, period. You got to have that kind of a connection, and Riley just doesn't have that. If anything, I truly would think that with the relationship that Riley seems to have with Ty Gibbs, that is, I wouldn't be surprised if Gibbs takes him in the O'Reilly series next year. Whatever ride that is, I don't know if he'd take Taylor Gray's ride. I don't think he would. And I don't think that Cruz is moving up next year, again, unless he's going to the Legacy Motor Club ride, which is a possibility. Or William Sawalich maybe would take the Legacy Motor Club ride. I would kick Brandon Jones out, but he has Menards to back him, so it's kind of hard to kick him out when he's got that sponsorship behind him. And so maybe whether it's Sawalich or Cruz who takes the 84 next year in the Cup Series, maybe Herbst can take whatever ride opens up there in the O'Reilly series. But that is, in my opinion, the best case scenario for him. Unless you're looking at low-end O'Reilly series and maybe a truck opportunity. But it's tough, It's sink or swim. There is no time to try to get used to the car, to try to figure it out. There's no time for that anymore. It's you got to get it now or you're never going to get it. I mean, Jesus Christ, the Connor Zilic stuff, people are already ready to write off Connor Zilic and call him the biggest bust ever and, overreacting to that. It's like, I mean, the guy just got here. He just got here. Give him a year. Give him the whole fucking year before you start lambasting the dude and saying he's no good. Give him some time. But some people that we just aren't willing to give people time. We want to just cut them off at the knees, and if they ain't getting it, then move on. All right. Speaking of moving on, let's move on to this. This past weekend at the O'Reilly Series, speaking of the O'Reilly Series, Cletus McFarland was racing again at Nashville Superspeedway. And, look, am I going to sit here and stand on my soapbox and say that, Cletus deserves to be in the O'Reilly Series and all this lambasting on him and everything like that is, unfair? I don't think that bashing him is fair at all. If you want to bash the situation for him being in the O'Reilly Series with how little experience and how little starts he has, if you're fair and you say, hey, it doesn't make sense that a guy who has so little starts gets that type of an opportunity versus somebody who's raced in the trucks for how many years, or raced in the ARCA series for how many years, and raced in late models for how many years, and has a wide range of success, doesn't get that opportunity, then that's fair. But let's just be totally honest here. This idea that, and I've already gone into this spiel before, but I'm going to go into it again here before I play a clip that I'm going to play. This whole idea that, we need to hold NASCAR racers to higher standards and, all these guys getting opportunities that they don't deserve and blah, 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 blah. Like bashing one guy, but yet not bashing the other, 90 fucking percent, 50, somewhere between 60 and 90% of the fucking O'Reilly Series, Truck Series, and ARCA Series is basically bought and paid for by the driver. Not actually off of merits, not, hey, we picked you and we just so happened to go find the sponsorship. No. It's you brought the sponsorship with you and that's why you're getting the opportunity. And why we don't bash those people and why we don't single those people out, I really think it's because of the simple fact that it's just, we'd be bashing, like I said, 60 to 90% of every driver. So I want to play this clip because I think it's only fair that when somebody is being hypocritical, we call them out for their hypocrisy. Okay? So let's go ahead and play this clip. This is from earlier today. I saw this, and I just thought it was rich to hear this. This is a clip from DBC from this week's episode where they were actually talking to Cletus. And let's hear what Cletus and the fat ass who sits in the spotter stand and Tommy and whomever else is in this clip. Let's hear what they have to say to Cletus when they're actually talking to him.
We never were against you. We were against the process of letting you do things knowing that you don't have any experience, and it's wrong for you, not for the sport. He needs to do ARCA. He needs to do late model stuff. He needs to learn his racecraft. To be honest with you, the positions that you've been in, you couldn't really learn.
I agree with you, Tommy. Like, from my perspective, I didn't think that you guys were against me. I think initially it came off as like you guys were haters, I think, obviously to the internet. But I understood the fact that, like, from the outside, it does look like I'm trying to shove my way into these higher series, which I really am not. I'm just If I can get a seat and it's offered to me, I'm going to take it. I don't think I ever took it as the fact that you guys wanted me out. The way it was perceived on the internet obviously kind of exploded the whole thing.
Okay, so by the way, I want to go ahead and point this out because I'm getting this clip off of Instagram and there's a bunch of people that have made comments. Let me just read some of these comments. Somebody commented saying they were 100% hating earlier in the season and are now backtracking. Another person said the switch up to get the views up is insane. Another person said, holy switch up. Another person said, y'all had to switch it up. Hilarious. Desperate for a view. Everyone's saying that they switched it up. Another person said, nice switch up. What a fucking joke. A lot of people are saying it's for views. I don't think it's for views. I think it's more so the switch up is because he's actually sitting there. He's sitting there in front of them and they're actually having to speak to him to his face. So now they're saying, it wasn't against you. We weren't bashing you. We were just bashing the position you were put in. Like, here's what Tommy said.
We never were against you. We were against the process of letting you do things knowing that you don't have any experience, and it's wrong for you.
It's wrong for you. It's wrong for you. How is it wrong for him? That doesn't make any sense. If you want to try to... The only argument that he would have there by saying that, oh, it's wrong for Cletus to get this opportunity. Number one, experience is experience. Getting an opportunity to race in the O'Reilly Series, a difficult car to drive that takes a lot of talent in order to be fast, it's not unfair to him because it's only going to help him. It's only going to make him better. The more experience that he has in any car, it doesn't matter if it's an ARCA, a truck, an O'Reilly Series, a Cup car, a late model, it doesn't matter. Any experience he gets is only going to help him. It's not actually going to hinder him. So him being put in the O'Reilly Series car, in maybe to some people's opinions and maybe to even Cletus's opinion, that he's not ready for it. He's not up for it. He can't handle it. Whatever the reasoning is, it's only going to help him because when you're put in uncomfortable situations like that, you're forced to adapt to your surroundings as best you can. So the harder something you put on somebody like that is, the more they're going to have to try to fix it and learn it pretty quickly. So let's put it this way. If he can figure out an O'Reilly Series car in the few short times that he gets an opportunity this season, and he learns car control better, and he learns how to deal with something that has a lot more horsepower in it, isn't always easy to just slam on the gas and the thing never spins out, or, like whatever instances or problems that he's having with this O'Reilly Series car in the 33, it's only going to, when he goes back to the trucks and he goes back to ARCA, it's only going to help him. Because then he takes a step back in something that is easier to drive, like the ARCA car, and he goes, whoa, this thing is stuck to the ground. And then, hey, what a shocker. All of a sudden he's finishing second in one of the ARCA car races that he had not too long ago. So this is where it comes across as though it's only going to hurt you. It's wrong for you to put you in that position. Number one, if Cletus felt like it was unfair to him, or if he felt like he was being shafted, or he felt like he was being made to look like a fool by being put in that position, that in something that he was not prepared for, and so they threw him in something that he wasn't prepared for to try to embarrass him or to try to make him look bad. If he really felt that way, he'd just not race it. He would just say no. If he felt like he was truly not prepared for it and truly couldn't handle it, and he felt like he was truly embarrassing himself, he'd just say no. He'd stick to the trucks. He'd stick to ARCA. He'd stick to what he felt more comfortable in, and he felt like he could look better in. But he wants to learn. He wants to get better. He wants to improve. And so when you're offered an opportunity to race in the O'Reilly Series with as little experience as he has, I understand from a purist perspective, they're going to say it's just like sticking a fan out there. Well, number one, Cletus has got car control. He's raced plenty of things outside of NASCAR as well. He's shown in the ARCA series that he has the ability to at least race something in the skill level of ARCA. Not to mention there are how many guys who make that switch back and forth, by the way, of racing O'Reilly series and ARCA. That's why Ty Gibbs made that jump. He went from the ARCA series. Part of it was obviously JGR had an ARCA car and a O'Reilly series car, but he went from the ARCA series running very well, jumped to the O'Reilly series and ran very well. So making that leap is not the most unrealistic thing. In their eyes, it's unrealistic because, again, he's inexperienced. He's barely raced anything in NASCAR. He's barely raced anything in general in their eyes. He doesn't have, and again, it almost comes down to that whole thing of like, you're not a part of the family. You're not a part of the family. You're still an outsider. And so you're almost not welcome because you're this guy who isn't a part of the family, who isn't related to somebody or getting an opportunity because of, X, Y, and Z, and you're not a part of the group. You're this random guy who just likes to race random stuff on your YouTube channel, and so therefore you're not welcome. And so then when you actually get an opportunity because, us as a sport is so desperate for people and fans and eyes and attention on us, that's why you're getting this opportunity at the end of the day, let's be honest. When that's the case, they won't say it, but they don't want to welcome him in. They don't want to give him that opportunity. They want to make him earn it. They want him to go through the ARCA series more. They want him to race a whole year of ARCA. They want him to race a whole year of trucks. They want him to go through the ringer. They don't want to see somebody who just jumps everybody because, again, he's popular and he has attention on him and he actually can bring in sponsors. That's really what this ultimately comes down to, is the fact that he's not getting this opportunity just because he has YouTube followers. The YouTube followers are a part of the reason why he gets these opportunities. He gets these opportunities because the YouTube channel, yes, but it's more so the actual overall eyes that he can possibly bring to an ARCA, a truck, an O'Reilly Series race that wouldn't be there if he wasn't there. Even more so, the reason why he's put in the car that he's put in is because of the fact that they know they can get sponsors to fund that 33 car on a part-time basis, giving him the every now and then opportunity to race the, five races that he's going to do this year, solely based on the fact that he has a million some people that watch him on YouTube, millions of views on YouTube, millions of fans that watch him and follow everything and anything that he does. He's entertaining and he's marketable to a specific NASCAR and racing type fan and race type audience, a car audience. I have people that I work with that are Cletus fans 10 times over them being ever a NASCAR fan. And literally, they never saw a NASCAR race in their life until Cletus actually was in the ARCA race of all things. Not even when he started to try to race the O'Reilly Series. It was when he tried to race ARCA early this year at Daytona to start the season, and the trucks to start the season at Daytona. They tuned in to both the ARCA and the truck race just because he was in it. Just because he was a part of it. Now, imagine some random Joe Schmo that I work with in the state of Minnesota, of all things, not exactly Racing Central. If he can grab those people and make them go to a NASCAR race, which they damn sure wouldn't have done before, And even more definitely not an ARCA race or a truck race of all fucking things. If he can get them to go watch that, imagine if he could actually race well. Imagine if we did give him the opportunity in the O'Reilly Series and he actually did do okay. I'm not saying winning races, but I'm just saying keep the car straight. Run 25th. Run 20th at some point. Get himself good enough to where he can just be consistent enough to get to the end and have a decent finish. Those people don't care. Those fans of him that follow him wherever he goes and will see what he does, they don't care about where he finishes. They'll be happy if he wins. They'll be happy if he finishes top 5 or top 10, or he has a good finish like 20th. But at the end of the day, if he's in the race, they're going to watch. They're going to pay attention. And those are how much more people. Like I said, random Joe Schmo that I work with, how many more people around the entire country that will tune into a NASCAR race if he's in it versus if he's not? Because, oh, by the way, those same people that went and tuned in to that Daytona race because he was in it, when he wasn't in the race next week at Atlanta, by the way, like one of the best races that we have to offer right now in the entire season, entertainment-wise, those people didn't come back because he wasn't in it. It didn't matter how good the racing was. They didn't go to watch because, NASCAR, and then they didn't go to watch because of him and then stuck around the next couple weeks because, the race was so great. By the way, the Daytona race this year wasn't exactly the worst thing on the planet. And again, it didn't matter. Didn't matter how good the product was. Didn't matter if the racing was good or not. They didn't stick around because he wasn't in it. And so you want to try to shun that person away? You want to try to shove that person off to the side and make them race on Thursdays and Fridays? And make them race when, by the way, on fucking Flow TV, basically, because how many goddamn ARCA races are on FS1 or FS2? They're not exactly must-see television that gets, primetime Fox openings. They're shoved on fucking Flow TV half the goddamn time. So now you want to, is that why? You just want Flow TV to get a bunch more subscribers? You want to make people go pay extra money to go get Flow TV just to watch Cletus? Guess what? They might like Cletus. They won't fucking watch that. The only reason they're going to watch him if he's on primetime television that they can actually see. They'll watch him on CW. They'll watch him on FS1 if it's the truck series. You want to shove him to the fucking ARCA series where no one watches and it's the Flow TV and it's a fucking mess every week? There's a reason why we sit there and call the ARCA series a fucking joke. It's because you think he's a joke. So you want to shove him to the ARCA series where all the jokes are. Now that's the fucking joke, is the fact you want to shove him there. It's wrong for you to get this opportunity. Shut the fuck up. Why is it that then your son, by the way, your son or grandson or whoever the fuck he is, talking about Tommy Baldwin, why does he get an opportunity in the O'Reilly series himself? Why did he get an opportunity? Why is Luke Baldwin getting a fucking opportunity in the O'Reilly series? Did he exactly earn it? What did he do to earn it besides having the right last name? But we won't bash him because, see, he's a part of the family. He's a part of the NASCAR family. So that's where he pays his dues. Did Cletus not pay his dues? Is that what it is? Where did Luke Baldwin exactly pay his dues? Where did the countless, hundreds of people over the last God knows how many years of this sport's existence, the 75 plus years of this thing's existence, where did all of the countless people who had the right last names, who were either grandsons or sons or daughters or whoever the fuck, getting opportunities in cars that they damn sure didn't fucking earn, where was them paying their dues? No, just give my son or my grandson or my cousin or my fucking uncle or whoever the fuck, give them an opportunity. Give them a chance. Because they've paid their dues. How so? By just being related to me. That's how they pay their fucking dues. So, I want to replay this clip. And then I'm going to play something else just to show you the fucking hypocrisy of these people. And why it bothers me so much is because they will, like the comment section of that video said clear as day, they fucking talk out of the side of their mouth constantly. Constantly. They will say one thing when it's convenient for them and then turn around and say the opposite. And it's these people, more so one person more than anybody else, that really does it the most often. And you know, I say it's the DBC crew more than anything, but it's not just them. It's the Actions Detrimental people as well. It's Denny Hamlin and it's all of his cohorts. They do the same exact thing. When it's convenient for them, they'll bash one person. But then in another chance or another opportunity, they'll turn around and say something completely different. When again, they're confronted by somebody. This is not a views ploy. It's not a ploy to get people to watch their podcast. It's because he's actually sitting there in front of them and they have to actually talk to him. And they don't have the fucking balls to just say what they previously said weeks ago and stand up for themselves. They have to turn and cower and they have to be like, oh, we weren't bashing you. We were just bashing the process and we thought it was wrong for you. We thought they were hurting you by doing that. Oh, really? Okay. Listen to this. Let's re-listen to this clip and then we'll listen to this other clip talking about the same topic, the same person, talking about Cletus weeks prior. So let's listen to the clip from today.
We never were against you. We were against the process of letting you do things knowing that you don't have any experience and it's wrong for you, not for the sport. He needs to do ARCA. He needs to do late model stuff. He needs to learn his racecraft. To be honest with you, the positions that you've been in, you couldn't really learn.
I agree with you.
Okay. Now let's listen to what they said a few weeks ago.
This is going to be very unpopular, and I'm sorry, but what are we doing? Are we trying to get the best race car drivers on the racetrack, or are we trying to get the biggest social media followings?
Yeah, let's just get. I'm going to buy 5 million TikToks, and I'm going to make a bunch of friends, and do some street stock racing, and next thing you know, I'm going to be driving a top 5 truck.
A system should not be based on participation. It needs to be based on results.
By the way, did that not sound like the most condescending ass shit you've ever heard in your life? We got the receipts here, guys. What the fuck are we doing? Did you really think that no one was going to go back and listen to what you said a few months ago? By the way, this is even before he even got offered the O'Reilly Series ride. This is when they put him in the truck. They're bashing him. They want him to go run ARCA and late model and trucks. Guys, this is just a truck opportunity, and they're already bashing him for getting to run trucks. In the most condescending way possible, you're going to sit there and, I'm just going to go buy 5 million TikToks, and I'll just make a bunch of friends and get a top-on opportunity in the trucks. Oh, but we weren't. It was nothing against you. It had nothing to do with you. It was all the process. We thought it was wrong. We thought the process was wrong. It had nothing to do with you. It's just unfair that he gets this opportunity because he's got all this money and Where again, all these fucking other people for all these years. Does anybody remember Drew Dollar? Does anybody remember like Brian Scott? Does anybody remember all these other people that either got Cup, O'Reilly Series truck opportunities that didn't fucking deserve it and got it because they either had a shit ton of money to back them or, again, they were related to the right person or whatever, and yet we never bash them for any of that. Funny enough, the only fucking person that these people on this podcast will bash for not being in something that that they're in over their head and they shouldn't be getting the opportunities they deserve, and maybe they need to take a step back. The only other person that they will bash is fucking Natalie Decker. And I'm sorry, I'm not exactly going to give you kudo points for the most easiest lob ball fucking person to bash on. Like, she is literally the most easy person to sit and shit on. At some point, like, yeah, sorry, you're right about the most obvious one on the planet. I'm not going to give you points for being right about the one that's right, that's obvious to everybody and their mother who's watched a race that she's been in and heard her speak, either on the radio or in interviews or whatever. I'm not going to give you points for being right about that. But again, it's the whole thing about like, oh, we just, we just think you're getting shafted and, you're not actually learning. It's a hindrance to you. It's not a help. Let's go ahead and finish this clip here on the one from a few weeks ago.
This guy run 2 plate races last year, wrecked in both of them, wrecked half the field in one of them from trying to do a restart, talking about Cletus. And then we're just lucky the other night that he didn't wipe out half the truck field, because when he spun, he went down instead of up. I'm sure he's a great guy. He seems like a phenomenal person. He's got great car control. The videos that I watch, he drives anything in the world. He's not ready for what he's doing. I want to make it clear that it's not Cletus's fault, but it's NASCAR's fault.
At the end of the day, you've got this guy with, a ton of followers that,
he can bring a lot to the sport.
Yeah, he can bring a lot to the sport.
Yeah, but go through the system like we all had, like you had, like Luke has, like run modifieds.
What fucking system did Luke go through, by the way? Did he really go through the system? Or did, again, you force him through the system? Did he go through the system because you gave him the opportunities? Just because somebody races an ARCA car or races a truck or, races a late model at some time doesn't mean that they're paying their fucking dues or that they're working through the system in the right way. You can run like pure shit in modifieds and in ARCA and still get an opportunity in the trucks because you got the right last name, because you know the right people. That shit is, at this point, it's over. It's been over. This idea of like paying your dues and working through the system in the right way. Motherfucker, are you kidding me? Do you see half the fucking people that get the opportunities that they get? Take your fucking blinders off and look at the field that is currently in O'Reilly Series and Truck Series races. Are you exactly going to sit here and tell me that Corey Day paid his dues? Where was the Corey Day paying his dues? What, because he ran good in dirt? Why didn't he have to go through the ARCA system and race a truck? Why didn't he have to why did he get to just skip all that and go right to the O'Reilly Series? Is that not unfair? Is that not unfair to all the other people? Why is it that Dean Thompson, somebody who has been shit for most of his career, continuously gets opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity? Brendan Poole has been mid at best, and yet here he is, still in the O'Reilly Series. What about Blaine Perkins? Same thing. Why is he there? Because of the money he brings. Nobody wants to say it, but why is Raja Karuth there? Well, for obvious reasons, but also at the same time, like, did he pay his dues? Why did he get to jump ARCA? Why didn't he have to race ARCA? Why did you get to just jump into the trucks, be mid at best in the trucks, and oh, by the way, now he's in a O'Reilly Series car? Did he do anything in the trucks to highly impress everybody to where he should get an opportunity at, oh, by the way, Junior fucking Motorsports? What the fuck did he do to get an opportunity at Junior Motorsports of all places? What did he do? Tell me. He didn't fucking do shit. He raced mid at best in the trucks, and because of reasons, he gets an opportunity at one of the, if not the best fucking O'Reilly Series team out there right now. By a country mile. What about LeVar Scott? Why does he get an opportunity in the 45 for Tommy Joe Martins? Why does he get an opportunity? Did he pay his dues really hard in the ARCA Series? Or did he just run around being okay to mid in the ARCA series of all fucking places. And again, because of reasons, he gets an opportunity in the 45. Why is Garrett Smithley still getting opportunities? That guy's been the shits his entire fucking career, and yet he is still here. Why? Why is he still here? Why is David Starr still fucking racing? Go to the truck series. It's not much better. I guarantee. Let me ask you a question. I can say the same thing about Carson Quaffle, but why'd Carson Quaffle get the opportunities he's gotten? Oh, is it because of that last name that he has? What about Lane Riggs? Why does Lane Riggs get an opportunity to race in the truck series? Did he really pay his dues, or did that last name really be the main help? You know what I mean? Gio Ruggiero. What did he do? Was he really that great in ARCA? Has he really been that great now? I like Daniel Dye to some degree, but let's be honest, what the fuck did Daniel Dye do in the ARCA series that would have warranted him even getting the opportunity to race for Ram? Daniel Hemrick, a guy who just got fast-tracked it up, and he failed upwards. Did a whole lot of nothing his entire fucking time working his way up into the Cup Series, and then fucking lucked in to an O'Reilly Series championship. What about, I don't know, the most obvious one in the Truck Series? So we're not going to bash on Mini Tyrell at all? Is it because he raced late models for a period of time? Is that why? Is that the, quote, earning his stripes? Is that the, quote, paying his dues? We don't think that, so we're okay. Hold on. So we're not okay with a guy getting opportunities because of him being popular on YouTube and having a crap ton of followers and a crap ton of attention because of that. We're not okay with that. But yet we're somehow okay with somebody only getting an opportunity to race a truck for what is assumingly supposed to be a good team in the Truck Series. And the only reason he gets that opportunity is because he won a reality show. He won a reality show. And yet somehow in their minds, they won't bash him. And somehow in their minds, that's more credible, winning a reality show versus the YouTube guy. You don't think that it's somehow extremely contradictory that a guy who wins a reality show is just as hokey and just as stupid as the YouTube guy getting an opportunity? That's not the same. That doesn't track. Let's also not forget, did Frankie Muniz pay his dues? Did he really bust his ass to get his opportunity? Or did he also get his opportunity in the Truck Series because of the fact that he's a famous actor? Had nothing to do with the fact that he was the guy from Malcolm in the Middle. Nothing to do with that at all. It's because reasons. Why, again, is he not harped on at all by these same guys, but yet Cletus is? Frankie, as far as I know, has little to no experience as well, comparative to all these other people, supposedly. I mean, Jesus Christ, talk about a guy who doesn't deserve a ride, who's also been the shits for as far as I can remember. Chris Wright is another perfect example of somebody who, again, sticks around for so long because he somehow brings in sponsorship and somehow has money, and God knows he's related to somebody probably. And yet, nothing. Not a peep. Nothing. It is total, utter bullshit to sit there and to play this game of all these other guys are okay. But this guy's bad. This guy's undeserving. This guy didn't earn his stripes. He didn't pay his dues. Let's finish this clip here.
Run late models, run, go through the system, learn how to race, do all the things that we all have to do to get to the places, spend the money like we all had to get to certain spots.
It feels
right?
like a movie. Like,
you just
it feels
don't
like
show up.
It feels like
See, this is the thing that doesn't make any sense. How many of these other fucking people just showed up? A lot of them. A lot of these fucking people. Frankie Muniz, he just showed up. One day he went to the doctors, found out that he was cleared to race, and was like, well, I'm just going to start racing again. And then a truck team gave him an opportunity, and guess what? He just fucking showed up. Or excuse me, an ARCA team at first just showed up. He didn't have to run his way through the modifieds. No, he just got an opportunity in ARCA. And then eventually got an opportunity in trucks. Is that super unfair? That's not fair. He didn't have to spend the money like we did. Because no one cares about you. That's why you had to spend all the fucking money that you did, is because no one gives a fuck about you. No one gives a fuck about your kid. No one gives a fuck about all these other fucking people that get that are racing ARCA and trucks and O'Reilly series. I'm sorry. No one fucking cares about these people. And this is the position you've put yourself in as a sport. You've put yourself here. You have made all these people, you have neutered these people to the point where they're all just, they're moss on the side of the road. They're fucking paint drying. They're like watching grass grow. They're just boring as shit. There's nothing to them. And yet you wonder why the sport is resorting to allowing people like Frankie Muniz or allowing people like Cletus McFarland and his friends to come in and race trucks in ARCA and O'Reilly series even. You wonder why that's the case is because your fucking sport now is a joke. It's a joke. It has been for years. You want to know why it's a joke? Is because you made fucking bullshit ass systems like we've had. The playoff system and the winning you're in shit. That was honestly the biggest joke of all. But that's not the start of it. That's just the main event of it all. The fucking bullshit rules and the stupidity within the sport and the nepotism that has been embedded in this sport for so many years has rooted itself to the point where this is what you get. When for years and years and years, as long as I've been alive, basically, skill has not been the reason why people have gotten opportunities. And it is because of, again, who I know, how much money I have, what's my last name. It's shit like this is why then you then fester this thing of, well, the cream never rises to the top then. You always get the mediocre to get to the top. And so therefore, mediocre is going to just attract more mediocre. More of the same is going to follow. All of these guys who are the best and are actually pretty fucking good, who never move up, who never get better, who never get opportunities because, again, they don't get the right family. They don't get the right friends. They don't get the right amount of money. And so then therefore, they're fucking forced down. And they're never being propped up. They're never getting opportunities. Some top-end team is never reaching down and pulling them up and saying, hey, we got the sponsorship here already. We've got the funding here already. We know you're good enough to go out and win races. Here's an opportunity. That's why a guy like Josh Berry is such a fucking rarity. Somebody who actually had talent from the lower series of racing modifieds and local short track stuff gets an opportunity, again, only because of who he's fucking friends with. That's the only reason why he actually even got the opportunity is because of who he's friends with. So even he's not the exception of it. He's just the better of the other options. I sat on my ass my entire life, and I didn't really do too much racing. I maybe just played video game racing, racing games and stuff. And, my last name is, something related to either Hendrick or Gibbs or Penske or, whatever. And so therefore, I get given an opportunity, or, I made friends with the right person. I made friends with Kyle Larson because we raced dirt together. I made friends with Kyle Busch because of, me knowing his family or whatever. And so therefore, I get an opportunity. But yet, again, according to them, it's a fucking joke that he gets this opportunity. And again, it's only because, I'm sorry, no one fucking knows who any of us are. No one knows who most people in the Cup Series are. No one knows anybody in the fucking O'Reilly Series, Truck Series, ARCA Series. No one fucking cares. People barely care about the top-end Cup guys now. There's only these small minute of like diehard fans of like a Denny Hamlin or a Joey Logano or a Chase Elliott or a Kyle Larson. And besides those pockets, a bunch of people, we just don't care. We don't care about Cole Custer, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Michael McDowell. We don't care about these people because there's nothing to it. There's nothing to these people. And so then again, we're forced to try to, find people that are interesting elsewhere. This is why Carson is so popular, is because, oh my God, somebody with a personality, we're going to latch onto him. That's why his fandom is shot to the roof. It's not even more so because of the fact of how he races. It's more so because he's got a fucking personality to show. None of these other people have a personality to save their life. They're boring. They're vanilla. They're bland. They're not charismatic. They got nothing to say. They got nothing interesting about them in any way, shape, or form. Nothing, not even anything that they do on the side that like, oh, here's a video of me fucking going somewhere, doing something. No, they're secluded. They have nothing to them. If anything, I made this comparison with a friend of mine the other night, and I think it's about as fair of a comparison as I can make. NASCAR drivers are like NHL players. I have heard countless stories of people who have gone to their local bar or whatever that's around the, ice arena in their town, and they'll look across the bar and they'll see there's 3-4 guys that play for the Boston Bruins, or 3-4 guys that play for the Seattle Kraken, or play for the Utah Mammoth, or play for the San Jose Sharks, or the Minnesota Wild, or the Detroit Red Wings, or whomever. They'll see them and no one bothers them. No one goes up to them and asks for a picture. No one goes up to them and asks for an autograph. No one goes up and tries to bug them. Nobody says like, oh, I know you, you're blah, 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 and tries to be friends with them. Nobody does anything to them. They leave them alone. And it's not because of it's a respect thing and we don't want to bother them. No, it's just because people don't know who they are. They blend in very easily with the crowd. They blend in with everybody around. They're not very recognizable faces. If you look at the grand scheme of things, hockey is very much the 4th most popular major national sport within the United States. NFL is 1. NBA and MLB are kind of back and forth at 2. And whoever's 3 is whoever is 3. And NHL is a distant 4th. Okay? So when that is the case, the NHL and hockey as a whole, though, is a very major cult following. Mostly in Canada and, obviously the northern states of the United States, but it's very much a cult following because of the fact that it's a smaller audience. And NHL as a whole has built itself up to this level to where it's stable. Where, okay, the product can speak for itself and the personalities are shown in the fighting, in the hitting, in the physicality, in the actual game. It's shown within the game. It's shown within the actions and things that players do on the ice. And so the game kind of sells itself. So when a player's, off the ice in between, in intermission in between periods, and they're asked questions on, what's going on within the game or something, or a post game, they're asked a question, they're not expected to be the most charismatic people. The product is what sells itself. The game itself is what is really the entertaining part, and the things they do on the ice is where their personalities, in a way, shine through, and where you can connect with them in that way. You can see the talent that a Patrick Kane has, or a Nathan McKinnon has, or a Connor McDavid has, and connect through him because, oh my God, that guy just flew down the ice like crazy, and he is so much faster than everybody else, or he's so much better at stick handling than everybody else, or his slap shot is so much faster and so much harder, or he's just so much better, or whatever, or he hits so much harder. There's a reason why a Ryan Reeves has such a cult following or a cult fandom, because that guy's a fighter. That's the point of him. He is a goon. He's out there to hit people as hard as he possibly can and get in fights with people. He's not out there because of his stick handling ability or his speed on his skates. He's out there because he fucking fights people and hits people and is entertaining in that way. And that's where his personality shines through, in his aggression on the ice. And NASCAR has the cult following, but all of those intricate personalities and what you see on the track aren't shown. Everybody's just the same. And this is again why a Carson Hocevar shines through, is because he's the only person out there who's different. He's the only guy out there who's trying to pass people and rubbing people out of the way and getting into people and dive bombing people, like he pissed off Chris Buescher this past weekend at Nashville because he's dive bombing them, and this is his only move is he's dive bombing people all the time. Is because and people love him for it because he's the only one out there doing it. No one else is doing it because no one else either has the fucking balls to do it, or they don't have the personality to do it. They don't have the ability to do it. Everybody races the same. And when everybody's the same, no one's cool. No one's popular. No one's different. It's all the same. And so when that is your product, where everyone's the same, and everyone's all boring, and everyone doesn't do anything, and everybody's the same shitty ass fucking personality off the track in the first place. Either they're boring, they're mundane, they're whiny, they're bitchy, they're fucking obnoxious as shit, they're insufferable in the way that they talk and they act. Everybody's the same in that way, in some way, shape, or form. When that's the case, anybody who is different, anybody who actually, by the way, plays to the actual audience of NASCAR fans, I'm sorry to any of those stuck-up northern fans, but the redneck deep south, where this sport was born and bred and where the actual fans are, when they see somebody that's actually out there who talks like them, who acts like them, who thinks like them, they're going to relate to that person and want to see that person succeed. And the sport as a whole and sponsors as a whole don't give a fucking shit about your personal beliefs, as far as we need to have everybody out there who's respectful and goes through the system the right way. They don't give a fuck about that. They see the simple fact that, hey, this is the first person in probably 25 fucking years who has shown that they're actually for the actual demographic of NASCAR fans and are similar to the actual demographic of NASCAR fans. We're going to try to promote this person. We're going to try to give this person an opportunity. We see this possibly helping us as a sport, because at the end of the day, this is entertainment. We can try to take it as seriously as we want it, but this is entertainment. And if anything, out of any of the major sports in this country, stick and ball sport or not, no sport has leaned into the attempt of being sole entertainment versus sport. No one has done it more. than NASCAR. The NFL has kept most of its same rules, if not all of its same rules, for my entire life. The NBA has only changed very small things, only done very kind of weird, quirky things like the in-season tournament and the NBA Cup and stuff like that, but mostly it's the same game. The MLB, the same thing. They've only tweaked some things. They did the pitch clock, and they've got rid of the shift, and they've changed the bases and stuff. They're like small things within the game, but it's still mostly the same game at the end of the day. And NHL is pretty much, if not the exact same game as when I was a kid. And probably since, its inception, besides, again, small tweaks. NASCAR has gone so far as to changing its point system not once, not twice, but now 3 times in my lifetime. It has gone through a section of where there were no stages to where there now are stages, and there have been stages for, I believe, now approaching 10 years. They have done things like the caution line, or the overtime line, where they stuck a line on the back of the backstretch, and instead of just racing back to the start-finish line, they raced to a overtime line. They have also, in my lifetime, added the green-white checkered, which originally was not a gimmick, but now is just so infused into the sport that it doesn't feel like a gimmick, but it still is. They have added, speaking of caution line, they've added the caution clock to the truck series, where literally they started a clock that would be, I think, like 15, 20 minutes or whatever the fuck the timing was. And if there was not a caution within that time frame, they would throw a caution. Talk about fucking gimmicky. They have added the double yellow line rule, which again did not used to be a thing at the super speedways, but now is again in an attempt to be, quote, safe, which really has not helped safety at all in any way, shape, or form. There are just as many wrecks as there used to be, if not more. So I can keep going with all of these added gimmicks and bullshit and stupidity that the sport has done over the last God knows how many years, not to mention the fact that all of these rules that they have added and these different little things, they don't govern them the same way. They always govern them in different ways. So if, a Chase Elliott or a Dale Earnhardt, I'm sorry, at the end of the day for any of these people who are fans of these guys, but it is true. They govern things differently if a Chase Elliott is going to benefit or a Dale Earnhardt Jr. is going to benefit. They have mostly in the history of the sport. Whoever is, a very popular person, they usually lean towards helping that person because, again, this is mostly entertainment, not mostly sport. And on top of all of that, they have also been extremely inconsistent, not with just certain people, but across the board. The stupid double yellow line rule where they punished Reagan Smith X amount of years ago and gave the win to Tony Stewart at Talladega. They have then also went ahead and passed and not penalized a guy like Dale Jr., who very obviously went below the double yellow line and was not forced below the double yellow line, but just voluntarily went down there and made the pass. So this is not something new that as a sport, we continuously make up rules and make up shit in an attempt to just try to be entertaining because the sport is in a constant reach and a constant desperation to just get people to pay attention, to just get people to watch, to just get people to even give a single solitary shit about anything that happens within the sport. They have tried so fucking hard in my entire life to try to repair the damage that was done on February 18th, 2001. And yet, in every single attempt that they have tried to repair the damage from that day, it has only nosedived more. The more times that they have gotten their fucking fingers in and they have messed with shit and tried again in an attempt to make it more entertaining for the fans, they've made it worse. This is why we begged for so many years to just get rid of the fucking playoffs. Just get rid of it. It's stupid. It's hokey. It doesn't reward somebody who's actually the best. And as a matter of fact, it makes the fucking racing worse because I thought cautions were, entertaining. Yeah, cautions are entertaining and crashes are entertaining to the, most of the casuals in some way, shape, or form. But even at some point, you can't just eat cake all day. You have to at some point have some greens. You have to at some point have some protein. You can't just eat cake and cookies and ice cream all fucking day. So that means we can't just have crashing and more crashing all the fucking time, because at some point that crashing is going to get old. The cautions are going to get old. The watching these guys pace is going to get old. And the restart shit is going to get old. And guess what, motherfuckers? It's old now. It's so fucking old. It's been old for so long. The stage cautions. It's old. I don't need to see 2 restarts at a minimum every race. I'm okay with just having the first initial start be the only start that we get where they're gridded up. I'm completely okay with that. If there's no cautions for the rest of the fucking race, hey, that's a new, nice, refreshing thing that I've never fucking seen before. That'd be nice to have happen. But no, there's always a yellow. And usually it's not for a reason where there's an actual wreck. It's usually just because we want to throw a yellow and we just want to re-wreck them again because of entertainment. So then again, when you fester this environment where all it's about is entertainment, why are you so mad when a guy who comes solely for entertainment, why are you mad when he comes in and gets an opportunity that you for some reason don't think he deserves? When again, we've had so much worse shit. We've had so much more egregious shit. Why is this such a sticking point with you? The sport as a whole has done so much more egregious shit. Not to mention the fact of there's been how many other people who, by the way, way less popular, who have gotten the same opportunities, if not more greater opportunities, who again have done so much less. And yet, you don't bash on them. You sweep them under the rug. You forget about them. You don't bring them up. You don't ever make those comparisons at all. Instead, you want to bash on this one guy who actually might, for the first time in how many fucking years, maybe bring some benefit to the sport. Maybe actually bring more fans in to watch the product that we're trying to offer. Maybe try to somewhat stop the constant dropping of viewership every single fucking year within the sport, which is constant. The overall viewership of the sport is constantly dipping and constantly falling. And maybe we're trying to somewhat plateau that by bringing in somebody who might bring some more people in. And again, you want to sit there and just tear the guy down. Call it a joke. Call it pathetic. Call it, whatever you want to call it. It's a joke to sit there and to play a game where, again, you're okay with one thing and you're not okay with the other thing. I can play the rest of this clip again where they're talking about Cletus. You know what? Let's just finish this clip. It's already well after, but this person's about to say is about to say that it's like impractical jokers, which again, what the fuck does that even mean?
Practical jokers where like there's somebody in a room somewhere being like, okay, now wreck half the field.
This is gonna.
If that's really what you think that Cletus is that he's that bad, or that's even his intention, is that he's just out there for fun and he doesn't care. Well, guess what? I don't blame him. Even if that was true, which I don't believe it's true, but even if that was true, I don't blame him at all. I really don't. I fully understand it. Because again, what is this environment that we have festered? It is completely about entertainment. It's not about sport. It's about trying our best to somehow desperately drag back any fan that we lost over the last 25 years to hopefully turn on the TV again and watch a Bristol race or watch a Nashville Super Speedway race or tune in for Talladega. It's a desperate attempt constantly to try to get people to come back in. Any sort of rule change or point system change or anything like that, that's the only reason why. The only reason why the sport chose to go back to the chase and get rid of the playoffs is because they think that just because they changed it back to the chase, that all these other fans that left since the chase went away and the playoffs came in, they think that somehow all those people are going to come back. Or that they think because there's such an outcry for a full season point system on Twitter and Instagram and on social media, that they think because they change it to the chase and they get rid of the playoffs, that somehow this is just going to bring everybody back. It's just not true. Never has been, and it never will be. The sport needs a complete overhaul if you want to try to get any of those people back. And by the way, all those people, sorry to say, they're probably fucking dead. Because a lot of those people are like 20 years ago were 50, 60 years old back then. They're 70, 80, 90 years old now. You think those fuckers are coming? They're probably fucking dead. And again, okay, well, I want the younger audience. Well, I'm sorry, but just because you have a thing you call playoffs, it's not going to attract a younger audience. The thing is, you're trying to attract a young audience of car fans. So what do car fans appreciate? They appreciate fast cars, which, by the way, you don't really have, because you've limited these things to only be 700 and some change. For how many years? It was 550. And so people want to see fast cars, which is something you won't allow. People want to see bright and interesting personalities, which, again, this environment does not fester. And everybody who's a part of the sport is boring as shit. And you just want to see close, interesting racing, which, again, this car does not allow for. This car does not allow cars to get close to each other. You have to, again, manufacture bullshit to make that happen. And people say, well, this past weekend, you saw the 3-wide finish at the end. Number one, that's one in how many fucking races that we've seen. Number two, Nashville Superspeedway was not an interesting race. It wasn't. No one can pass. You're not going to see comers and goers very often. Denny Hamlin was the only exception of that. And again, you have to have how much of a better car in order to do it. You have to get lucky off of pit strategy in order to really make up spots. And then even still, pit strategy, even if it was straight up, was still going to be the biggest factor because, again, guys were on 2 tires and were just as fast as guys on 4. And the only thing that matters is that clean motherfucking air. So no one can actually follow the guy in front of him into the corner. If somebody were to follow the guy in front of him into the corner, they're not going to get any fucking run. They're going to have to try their best to get around him and try to stay out of the dirty air. Because if they follow him into the corner, their fucking car is going to die going off the corner and they're going to have no run. Meanwhile, this is why we direly need the Gen 4 car of yesteryear, or the car of, 20s plus years ago. The reason why we beg for that is because that car at least was more conducive for close racing. It's the reason why today we are so desperate for the O'Reilly Series car to be the Cup car. And why us fans just think that that's the easiest solution. Because we watched the races on Saturday every single fucking week, and they're better every single week. I've said this constantly on this podcast, and everybody and their mother would 1,000% agree. Everybody's saying this. This isn't exactly news. It doesn't matter if it's road courses, super speedways, 1.5 miles, short tracks. If they went back to fucking dirt, I guarantee you the O'Reilly Series car would be better than the Cup car. It's every single form of racing that we see on a weekend. The O'Reilly Series blows them out of the fucking water in entertainment. And no, I don't want to hear this bullshit that it's because the guys racing the O'Reilly Series are just more inexperienced and that's why you're allowed to see better racing is because they make more mistakes. That's a fucking lie. That's a fucking lie by stupid people. The O'Reilly Series race is better because the cars are allowed to race closer. By the way, if the reason why the O'Reilly Series races were so much better because the guys are just so much more inexperienced and they made more mistakes, Larson, every time he'd go down the O'Reilly Series and race, he'd win every fucking race. And he'd win it by a landslide. He'd lead every lap. He'd be the fastest car out there. He's got a fucking Junior Motorsports car out there. He's got the best car. He's got the best equipment. He's got the best shit. And he's supposedly the best driver. But if everybody down there in the O'Reilly Series was just so bad, was just so untalented that they were constantly making mistakes every fucking corner, then he'd win every race. Better yet, if that was the case, Cletus wouldn't be struggling to finish fucking top 30. He'd be out there fucking finishing 20th or 15th or maybe even a top 10 if everybody was making so many fucking mistakes. He wouldn't be so bad because he'd actually have better equipment than some other people out there and he'd just make as many mistakes as everybody else. So he'd be up there competing if everybody in the Riley Series was just so bad. So again, you're wondering why we go into a weekend like Nashville and I don't care about the trucks. I don't care about Cup. I'll watch them. They were fine. I mean, the ending of the Nashville Super Speedway race was great, and I understand that, the prime guys got to sit there and say, "Oh, what a great race. Oh, my God, it was so amazing." And again, it's all because of the ending. The ending was nice. It was fun. Seeing the guys go 3 wide into 1 on the last lap, yeah, that was cool. But what was the big talking point up until that? It was guys saving fuel. Now, that can happen at any track. I get it. But, that was like the most entertaining, interesting thing that happened all race was Zane Smith might win because he could save enough fuel to get to the end. And maybe Christopher Bell can't catch him. Maybe he saves enough tire to where he can keep the lead and we'll see a surprise winner. But before that, it was fucking everyone's just riding, following the guy in front of him. Not a whole lot of passing. Oh, we had to wait like 50 fucking laps because it takes that long for the tires to actually matter. And for, the tire difference to matter enough to get through the dirty air. And now we actually finally see some passing. Now we finally actually see some guys making moves. And by the way, it's only like a couple spots. It's like 2 or 3 spots. It's bullshit. It's bullshit to sit there and to try to sell this thing as anything different. And again, I understand why the prime people have to do that. And honestly, I think what made the broadcast and the race more palatable for the Cup Series was literally the prime broadcast. Steve Letarte doing a great job as the crew chief guy. Dale Jr. is always fun to listen to. Adam Alexander, I think he's one of the best commentators that NASCAR has to offer, the play-by-play guys at least. He's one of the best play-by-play guys that we have to offer. He's awesome on CW every fucking week. Him, Jamie McMurray, Parker Kligerman, those guys fucking kill it every week. And yet again, that's honestly the reason why the race was fucking palatable, is because they're able to find a way with how good of a broadcast that they do and how good commentators they have to make the race palatable. And again, it's why the Fox shit is so terrible, is because they're just awful in every way. And so then when you have an awful product with awful broadcast and an awful commentary, what are you going to get? You're going to get an awful product. Truck Series race was fine. Congrats to Lane Riggs, like I said. Now he's the new points leader. But again, the race was fine. Cup Series race was fine. The O'Reilly Series race was the best of the weekend again. This is not exactly news. I mean, I literally could tell you that every single race for the rest of the season, Next week at Michigan, I know the O'Reilly Series isn't there, but every single weekend that the O'Reilly Series races going forward, they're going to be the best race of the weekend. Everybody knows that. That's a reason why, and this is honestly the biggest thing I think is the telling point that for some reason NASCAR just can't see, Steve O'Donnell can't see, is the O'Reilly Series is special because it's actually fun and entertaining thing to watch. It's actually a fun and entertaining race from top to bottom. And that being said, there's a reason why their viewership is either steady or growing. So why is it that the Truck Series and the Cup Series are constantly dipping and the O'Reilly Series is constantly going up? Well, it probably has something to do with the product because it damn sure ain't the personalities. I'm not sitting here being like, the personalities in the O'Reilly Series are fucking the best. They're the most coolest guys ever. That's not true. It's definitely not true. There's some fucking boring ass people to listen to in the O'Reilly Series too. Trust me. I'm not watching them for their personalities. It's because it is literally just because the product is better. And again, it goes back to the NHL reference. The product sells the sport. The product that you see on the ice is what sells the sport. It's not the people. It's not the personalities. It's just the shit you see on the ice. That's what attracts people to fucking get out of their house, drive to an arena 20, 30 minutes away from their house at least, file in to a parking ramp where they got to be charged up the ass for just parking, shuffle their way into their seat, which, by the way, is way more uncomfortable of a seat to sit in than their seat in their house, and sit with a bunch of random people that they don't know and don't really probably want to sit around. By the way, paying an exorbitant amount of money for food, whereas, again, they got to pay 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks for food at the arena where they're sitting in an uncomfortable chair. Versus if they were to just watch the game from their house, they get free food from their house that they've already bought and a way more comfortable chair in the confines of their own home where they can say or do whatever they want and go to the bathroom without there being a line. And all that said, they would still rather go and actually go to the game because the product is that good. They're willing to pay that money because the product is that good. People are willing to choose to watch an NHL game over another fucking rerun of Blue Bloods or House MD or whatever the fuck else is on local TV nowadays because I don't watch it. But any other random ass fucking show on CBS or whatever, they'd be much more willing to watch that, the NHL, than another rerun of whatever fucking random show, Friends. Because again, the product is that good. The product sells itself. The personalities don't need to sell it. The product does. So again, NASCAR could keep a steady flow of people. They could keep an okay audience to keep their, TV contracts coming in and keep the sport alive. But they don't want to do that. They'd rather always just try new shit that never works and is always stupid. This San Diego shit that we're doing a fucking a street course or a road course or whatever on a naval base in San Diego, I already guarantee you that shit's gonna suck. This shit's gonna be boring. The shit in the Chicago street course race was fucking stupid. It was fucking boring. And yet again, they kept doing it because it was different. It was something new and interesting. IndyCar already does street course races. They do street course races in fucking Long Beach. They do street course races in fucking Detroit. They do street course races in like Nashville, I think, or something like that. Like, they do street course. They have been. And yet their shit's fucking dying too. So doing random road courses on random places doesn't exactly sell the product. It's not going to save your sport. It's not going to get more people to watch. If anything, it'll get less. Because again, your sport is the deep South people. That's your fucking fandom. That's your hardcore audience. But yet you want to ignore them because you want to just try new shit. You want to do what you think, as a guy who knows fuck all about this sport, you want to do what you think is right. Instead of actually doing what has worked and always will work. The NFL hasn't changed in my entire life. NBA, same thing. NHL, same thing. MLB, same thing. They've all been the same thing. And they've all continued to be successful, continue to flourish, continue to grow viewership. NFL's never been more popular. So why is it that you think you need to change shit? Why is it that you're not just in an era of niches, having these niche fandoms that are successful because of the amount of people that are diehard fans of said thing? Why can you just not find your niche and stick to it? Why do you need to branch out? Because if you stick to your thing, you stick to what is you. You actually create an identity that is different from NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, any other stick and ball sport. Different than F1, different than IndyCar, different than IMSA, different than fucking GT cars, different than fucking supercars, different than every other thing. If you just for once in your fucking lives could see that carving out your own niche and being your own thing is actually what is going to make you more successful in the long run. And creating your own subculture of fans who are going to live and breathe your sport. Because casuals will always come and go. But the diehard group is what is going to keep you alive. But yet all you want to do is just ignore them. And that is something that I will never understand, is why you are so insistent on ignoring the hardcore people that are keeping your sport alive. Because if you're not careful, I talked about the fans dying. This fucking sport's going to die if you're not careful. And the shitheads running this thing are going to be at the epicenter as to why. Especially when you hear shit like Jim Probst coming out saying, we're going to make our most successful series. We're going to fucking literally nuke it by making an electric car. What, do you want to kill it? Are you trying to kill NASCAR? Is that your goal? Because, hey, if that was your goal, then you're fucking doing a bang-up job, let me tell you. There's nothing too interesting about this weekend. This is why I'm not even going to really cover this past weekend's races, because, look, like, they just existed. They just existed. Yeah, there was a lot of wrecks and a lot of infighting within the Cup Series race, the Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon thing. There was the wreck at the end with Tyler Reddick, and there's some shit with SVG. But, like, at the end of the day, I mean, all the infighting will still be there, and that's fine. Like, that's entertaining to me as a diehard. And other diehards will eat that up and will be entertained by it. But look, at the end of the day, I mean, it's just another race that was underwhelming as an actual racing product. So I'm sorry, but it was not like Dale Jr. said. He made it some comparison like this was like, this race was like reminded me of back in the 80s at Bristol or something like that. He tweeted something like that. I'm just like, dude, what? Keep some credibility. Keep some of it. The fucking cars back in the 80s or the 90s did not struggle to pass people the entire fucking race. So, look, I appreciate the broadcasts. I appreciate Prime. Like I said, the Prime broadcasts are fucking great. The pre and post race are a breath of fresh air that I can never get enough of. Because again, we haven't gotten that in fucking 15 years, it feels like? At least like that. When was the last time the last time we really had a true pre and post race was the NASCAR race day stuff on Speed. Haven't had that in forever. Speed died how many fucking years ago? I mean, I was still probably in middle school when the thing fucking died. So it's like, it's been that long. I'm well an adult now. So Prime does an amazing job, and I will always give them kudos. I'm going to be sad when we have to get rid of them. And we don't get that pre and post race show, and we'll be on TNT, and it'll be like, all right, whatever. But I'm going to try to enjoy it as much as I can now. We're off to Michigan next week. That should be hopefully a better race. Get some spacing out of these guys, allow these guys to show some actual speed in these things, and hopefully be an entertaining race. Hopefully it's not a draft fest. The trucks will probably be a draft fest, but hopefully the Cup Series race will be pretty good. That being said, I'm going to run through my top 10 real quick from this past week. From the week prior, I had Kyle Larson 10, Chris Buescher 9, SVG 8, Christopher Bell 7, Chase Elliott 6, Ryan Blaney 5, Chase Briscoe 4, Denny Hamlin 3, Ty Gibbs 2, Tyler Reddick 1. This week, number 10, I have Michael McDowell. Has been sneakily. I struggled on who I was actually going to put here at 10. I wasn't sure if I wanted to put Chris Buescher here. I kind of wanted to get a new name in there, so I put Michael McDowell in there at 10. He's shown speed. This last week here at Nashville Super Speedway, he actually showed some speed there too. Just had some struggles there at the end. Same thing with our number 9 here at Kyle Larson. Did I drop him a spot or was he 9? I bumped him up a spot. He had shown a lot of speed here this past week at Nashville, and besides, he was going to have a top 5, top 10 finish before he went and blew a tire there at the most inopportune time you can ask for. So the finishing result does not actually show how well he and his team ran. So I didn't want to punish him for that. I actually rewarded him for it, obviously, bumping him up to 9. 8. Here's the one thing I will say. There's no one this season that has surprised me more than SVG. If there was an award that NASCAR gave for Breakout Racer of the Year, I think so far SVG would have that. The fact that he has not only just continued his dominance, obviously, on road courses, but has started to find some speed. By the way, Trackhouse has not been good. They have been struggling to find speed for most of this season. And the fact that these last few ovals out of almost nowhere, since Watkins Glen especially, but even more so before Watkins Glen, Ross Chastain struggling to find speed. Obviously, Connor Zilic has struggled mightily. SVG has been the one person, not just on road courses, but on ovals now as well, as the guy to emerge from the Trackhouse group that has been good. Again, didn't expect it. I don't think anybody did. He's struggling on ovals this entire time that he's been in the Cup Series. And it's almost scary how quickly he has picked up racing on ovals as somebody who has raced on road courses his entire life. And how quickly he's been able to adapt to racing ovals here in these last few years and is now finding speed and leading laps, was leading at the Coke 600, was up front here in this race as well. Had himself, I believe, a top 10 finish. Top 5 finish. Sorry. 5th. And some people, it's pit strategy stuff. At this point, it can't just be pit strategy stuff this many times. part of it is that, yeah, but he's also found, you have to find some speed in order to even somewhat get yourself in that position. Like even like Zane Smith, I somewhat toyed with putting Zane Smith at 10 just because of the fact that like, I don't care that he wasn't the fastest at the end and didn't get a top 5 or a top 3 finish at the end of it. And he's shown speed these last few weeks and has been up towards the front. Like there's something there. It's the same thing with SVG. There's definitely something there with him. Now we get into this top 7 really is, it's gridlocked. You can't really move anybody else out or in. 7, I have dropped Ty Gibbs. And again, I mostly just because of this past week. Wasn't able to show the speed that we kind of expected, obviously based off of practice. And underwhelming amongst his 3 other teammates. So I had to drop him. And plus he struggled a little bit more here these last few weeks than in the previous weeks where he was, top 5, top 3 speed consistently. 6 is Ryan Blaney. Look, part of it is him. Part of it is obviously his crew. Part of it is circumstances, things. But it is mostly honestly him dropping. Mostly is honestly due to some other guys running better here these last few weeks. Speaking of running better, Christopher Bell at 5. He had the best car. He said it himself in the post-race interview. He had the best car. By far. Was the fastest. And again, this is why I say, like, aero shit played a factor. How much side drafting can just slow somebody down going into the corner. And then, oh, by the way, like, Christopher Bell, can you fucking take your balls out of your purse and stand up for yourself? I'm so frustrated at people who just get bullied. Is honestly the best way to say it. Bullied by Denny Hamlin on a consistent basis. Teammates of his now who just sit there, roll over and take it, and they don't ever try to give anything back. He constantly was just dooring him because Denny knew that was the only way he was going to pass him. He couldn't straight up pass him on the bottom. He had to keep forcefully pushing himself up the track into Christopher and screwing him up to where he didn't get a run off, and he couldn't clear him then because of that, because he couldn't, his run was stunted in the middle of the corner. And so Christopher couldn't pass him. And yet Christopher does nothing. When he eventually did get passed by him, he didn't try to bump him back. He didn't try to get that huge run off of 2 and try to do anything with it. No, instead he just drove into the corner like normal, tried to dive it in there just to get side by side with him. So then he could try to, race him clean off the corner. Yeah, well, good job. You lost a race because of that. And Christopher was right in his post-race interview. That's all on him. And it's all on him because he won't take his fucking balls out of his purse and do something. But he's not alone in that. There's a lot of other people that do that. But it's honestly one of the reasons why I think it holds Christopher back, is because he does get pushed around a lot. He really does. And he's an easy guy to push around. He's kind of a child. Kind of looks like a child. He cries like a child sometimes. There's that infamous clip of at Coda where Kyle gets in his face and he's like yelling. He's not even yelling at him. He's just sternly talking to him. And Christopher's eyes like start to well up and he gets like really scared. You can see he's like scared in the face and he's like about to cry. Like if that's what you got as your driver, like that 20 team's fucked. I don't care how many times he's been close to the championship 4. The playoffs are gone. If that's how you're going to be, then guess what, dude? You're easy pickings and you're going to get pushed around for the rest of your career. 4 is Chase Elliott, the one Chevy seemingly showing consistent speed every week. He is Mr. Consistency. I think at this point we can kind of say that. I mean, the guy almost every week finds a way to finish top 5, top 10. There's a reason why he's 4th in points now, I believe, passing Ty Gibbs. Guy's been as consistent as they come. Right there with Denny Hamlin as far as being the most consistent guy, or Tyler Reddick, that is, as well. The most consistent guy out there week to week. Never really a bad run. Maybe he's had like 1 DNF, I think, this year so far. due to circumstances of a crash. But besides that, team's been solid. He's been solid, and another solid finish here this past weekend. 3 is Chase Briscoe. Finally, holy shit. I have waited for this entire year. I have been saying all year long, Chase Briscoe's got the speed. He's got the speed to win races. He's got the speed to be a championship contender. He has just got to finish a fucking race. Either his team has got to give him a car to be able to finish, or he's got to be able to finish. Some way, shape, or form, something has got to change there, and he's got to finish one of these things without an issue. And he finally did. He finally finished one of these things. No issues on pit road. No issues on the car. He didn't make, as far as I saw or remembered, really any mistakes. Or race-ending mistakes, I should say. That didn't, cost him a lead lap spot or a top 10 or a top 5. Was just, he finished the race where he should have. He was the second or third best car out there, and he finished exactly where he should have finished, second or third. Probably second, but finally, for the first time in God knows how long this season, he finally had himself a good finish. So yes, Chase Briscoe is up to 3. Hopefully, this can continue for him and he can finally start to find some wins and finally start to get himself back more into the chase or higher up in the chase for when the chase eventually starts. 2 is Denny Hamlin. Have to award him, give him that second place spot. I don't like it, but at the end of the day, like he said, he wasn't the fastest car. Just made the right moves, bullied the right people, and got himself his second win of the season. He is, if not one of the most consistent guys out there every week. Like I said, right next to Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick, his cohort there at Toyota. But I will say the gap, again, I keep saying this every week, the gap to first and second is closing in my power rankings, but it's still very hard to not put Tyler Reddick at number 1. So again, I still have Tyler Reddick 1. He still had himself a solid run. It's just, again, it's hard not to put the guy that has 5 wins and, is still running well, and he's still getting good finishes. I know he said something about like, oh, I don't have the right speed. And then you see, as he said that, like the previous 3 finishes he had were like 5th, 7th, and 6th. It's like, dude, okay, if you were 15th, that'd be different. Or 12th, that'd be different. Or I even say like 10th, that'd be different. 5th, 6th, and 7th are the 3 previous finishes. Like, dude, you're fine. You're okay. Actually, I don't even think 5th was, I think 2nd was one of them. Because didn't he finish like 2nd or 3rd at the Glen? Like, I swear it was even better than that. But regardless, they were all like top 7. 7th was like the worst finish of the last 3 seasons, or the last 3 races. So calm down, Tyler. You're fucking fine. You got a 97-point lead and 5 wins, and you're still running well. So I think you're going to be okay. I'll finish by saying this, by the way. I understand that it's recency bias by saying this, but people saying this shit like, Denny's never been better. This is the best that Denny Hamlin has ever been. And all this other shit. He's been okay. He's got 2 wins this year. 7 top 5s, 9 top 10s through the 14 races. So, hey, like I said, very consistent. Most laps led. There is still an element of, is he the best because it's him? Or is he the best still now because Toyota is just that far ahead? You know what I mean? Like I will give him credit in the sense that, yes, he is, 45, I want to say? 45 this year? And he's still finding speed. He's still finding ways to run well. He's still finding ways to win races and stuff like that. But don't worry, he'll choke it away at the end of the year. That's what he always does. He always chokes it away. He'll choke it away again at the end of this year. Honestly, you know what? I say that. And I almost hope that he doesn't now. I almost hope that he finally wins that championship so he can fucking retire and go home. So I don't have to hear him talk or I don't have to see him race anymore. It's been 20 plus years, Denny. We're over it, man. We're over it. Fucking put Brent Cruz in that car. I'm so done seeing him. So yeah, I almost hope he does win the championship this year, because maybe that'll mean that he'll finally fucking hang it up and leave. But Denny's one away from tying Kyle. I believe Kyle's 9th all time. Denny's at 62. Kyle's at 63. Denny, unfortunately, will probably pass him by the end of the season, but that's just the way it goes. It's the way life goes. But no, calm down on this. Denny Hamlin's better than he's ever been. Okay, calm down. He's not better than he's ever been. He's had plenty of other seasons where he was way better. Okay. I'm pretty sure, like, I don't know. Would you take 2010 Denny Hamlin where he won 8 races? Or would you take this Denny Hamlin? You know? Would you take 2019 or 2020 Denny Hamlin? Or would you take this one? Guy who won, 6 and 7 races. I think I'd take that guy over this one. Guy about to retire. All right. That's going to do it for me. We're over 2 hours. I've done my spiel. A nice long rant about stuff that really had nothing to do with this past weekend, but I hope you all enjoyed. I'm very passionate about this sport, and I don't want to see this sport die. So that's why I talk about it often, and I'm going to call people out on their shit when I see bullshit. So I hope y'all appreciate the authenticity. I appreciate everybody for tuning in to last how many episodes I've done. I'm grateful for every one of you who tune in and listen every single week, the loyal listeners. I love y'all to death. I appreciate even the casuals. See, I'm a lover of the casuals. I'm here for everybody. But that's going to do it for me. I hope you all enjoyed. Appreciate y'all for sticking it out right up until the end. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe to the video. Leave a comment down below. Tell me your thoughts on anything and everything I had to say here today. And we'll be back again next Tuesday at 6 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. Eastern. Once again here on YouTube and Spotify. Go check out Spotify. It's easier to listen to Spotify because this is a still image on YouTube. And it's probably easier to listen to on Spotify while you're walking around or whatever. So go check it out on Spotify as well. Like I said, back here next Tuesday, coming off the heels of whatever the hell else happens the rest of this week and everything that happens in Michigan. And take it easy.